Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to install the Epson WorkForce Pro WF-5690 software and install it on our network. Now, these videos are a little tough to watch unless you're really interested. But if you're thinking about purchasing one of these devices, we need to listen to this carefully. It's a little bit more difficult to install than your run-of-the-mill device. First, there's no CD-ROM included in the box, so you have to come to the Epson WorkForce Pro website and download your utilities and software. Now, it sounds easy enough, but there are a number of options for the software. First, the standard package contains the standard Epson Escape 2P plus something GDI print driver and all of the utilities, the full suite of scanner driver, OCR, document capture pro, fax utility, software installer, and a network installer. But this printer comes with PCL and Adobe Postscript, and it's one of the reasons why you probably bought this particular device and paid a little more money for it, because it has these capabilities which make it more attractive to businesses and organizations that need the compatibility of PCL and Postscript and the manageability from an IT perspective that these print drivers provide. Manageability meaning being able to push drivers to desktops, etc. And once again, a true Adobe Postscript will give you exactly what you see is what you print on a Postscript printer. PCL is widely popular, especially in the HP world, LaserJet world. So if you got a bunch of LaserJets and you're using PCL, this is the printer that you're going to be looking for if you want a network multifunction printer, inkjet that's going to save you a ton of money on ink, and it's really a nice device if you looked at our other video on it. Now, getting back to this is a standard package which includes all the utilities and the Epson's Escape 2P, and there's another couple letters after it. I need more memory. But most importantly, there's also a Postscript package, which includes the Postscript print driver and most of the utilities, but not all of them. Third, there's a standard that you can download, the standard Escape 2P print driver. You can download the Postscript print driver. You can download the universal print driver. Universal print driver gives you the ability to say file print from Windows, and a list of printers comes up, but they don't have to be on your network, or they don't have to be directly connected to your PC. The print job will be sent out over the internet to any Epson Connect printer capable, Epson Connect capable printer in the world. And finally, the Epson Universal print driver, which has both PCL and Escape PR, and it covers a whole bunch of other Epson printers as well, so you don't need to have one for every single Epson printer you have on your network or attached to your computer. Then there's the standalone PCL print driver, and the notice is saying this driver is no longer available. Please use the Epson Universal print driver, this one. There's also the remote print driver, which allows you to say file print from Windows, and not only can you print to any Epson printer on your network or connected to computer, you can print to an Epson mail-enabled printer anywhere in the world. And finally, you have your two utilities. Now, I've pre-downloaded the standard package so that we get all of the utilities. And we have to test all this stuff. So then I have to decide, what to do next. So we definitely have to look at Postscript. So I downloaded the Postscript, pre-downloaded the Postscript print driver, and we'll install that. And it looks like I'm going to have to download this Epson universal print driver as well. So let's get going on that, and we'll go back to the installation. I gotta save this. It's going to my download folder. Okay. Like I said, we've already downloaded the 3 packages ahead of time. So this one here, 15740, is 233 megabytes. This is the main application with the Escape P2R print driver and all the utilities. Okay, and it covers all the Windows stuff. It's unzipping. The end user software license accept. The driver's utilities and the user guide link sounds good to me. And allow Windows to firewall to unblock the Epson utilities, check mark. Install. And it's going out to the internet, installing the drivers and utilities. And it's installing a Document Capture Pro. The Epson Event Manager. Document capture to OneNote connector. The link to the user guide. Alright, now we're in the setup phase, and you can see that the document utility link Epson scan has been installed on a desktop, and at the I forget what this is called. Status monitor has already been installed as well. So it says click next to begin. Make sure you restart your computer. As far as we'll check out what has been installed once everything's done. Next. Alright, so select your connection. I have it hooked up wireless at this point. Because also at this point wireless is just as fast as my gigabit wired network, nearly as fast, and it's not really going to make any difference on the productivity testing. Next. Set up this printer for the first time, or you can go back and change it to print wirelessly. So let's set it up for the first time. Add the printer to my existing wireless network. Now it wants us to, this is a pain, it wants us to select a wireless network setup method. Now it's already hooked up to the wireless network. So let's go back and change this. You can use a one button setup, or you can set it up through the control panel before you get here, and I already did that. So we're gonna it's already on my wireless network, so we're not gonna have to answer the that last question. Now, if you see a firewall message, click on block, and there's a checkbox here to allow it to do it automatically. It's connecting to the printer. See how oh, there it is, found it right away. That's setting up the computer driver settings. Alright, and it says print to test page, and I'm not going to do that. Would you like to set up your fax number and header now? Let's do it, even though we're not going to be doing too much faxing with it, just so you can see what's involved. Make the basic settings, fax header, it says phone number, but it should be your fax number. It should say fax number. Next. Alright, it doesn't want us to use any punctuation in the number. Let's get rid of that. And I don't want it to auto answer. Start dialing after detecting a dial tone. Yes, that's good. Clearing the checkbox might remove part of the number, and you might connect to the wrong number. Okay, it means that if you uncheck this, it could start dialing before the phone system is ready, and it would only pick up part of the numbers. So, you're better off with this. Okay, confirm settings, next. It's sent it to the printer, fax settings are done. Checking for updated firmware. I looked at the firmware downloads, and it indicated that there was a firmware download for if you experience a certain problem. It sounded pretty bizarre. But otherwise you don't need it. Alright, it's going to update the firmware anyway. Make sure there's no jobs in the print queue. Click start. You might have just heard the printer hemming and hawing, and there's a message flashing on the display that the firmware is being updated, and it's a beautiful display, by the way. Luckily, most of you can get up and walk away from this process, but since I'm recording and timing it, I have to sit here and watch the paint dry. Neat little icon down here. Little chick with a arrow. Doesn't make it any more fun to watch, but it's also interesting to see there's two different status monitors running down here. Hopefully one of them will go away when the process is done. Okay, it's finally finished up. Now it says your software installation and printer setup are complete. Exit. Okay, deleting temporary files. Register it. I don't have time to fill them out right now. Actually, I do, but I won't be using this printer in another couple of weeks, and I don't own it, so next. I don't want to go through all this. Exit registration. Okay, now let's take a quick look at what's been installed. Let's do it this way. 4 new apps installed, and then over here, Epson scan settings, user guide, links, uninstaller, document capture pro, software updater, fax utility. So basically, fax utility is to do PC fax. The updater it's self-explanatory. This I'm not familiar with. I'm pretty sure, I've seen Epson scan settings a bunch of times. We'll look at it briefly, and as well as Epson scan. So let's go back now. We have to go back And in fact, let's look at what we have in the printer folder. And the 5690 has been installed as the default. And let's see, let's look at what the Escape to PR driver looks like. Print driver looks like. You got shortcuts here. Duplex, media, just about everything you need up front here. And if you need to tailor it a little bit more, you have more options. Color correction, reduce and enlarge, rotate, mirror image, high speed. And over here is where you can do your maintenance for cleaning the print head a lot, checking nozzles, aligning the print head. Job Arranger Lite is a utility that lets you print from a bunch of applications, and it stores them, and then you can use Job Arranger Lite to move them around, move pages, say, put print settings on all of the jobs at one time, so in order to make one print job out of a variety of print jobs. In other words, you could print PowerPoint, Excel, Word, and anything else that Windows does, and then arrange them all into a single job using Job Arranger Lite, Paginate, Duplex, etc. Here's your status monitoring preferences, software update you can check here. So basically everything you need is right in here as far as the printing is concerned. So what we need, actually, put another one over here. And I don't like when this happens. There's really no reason to have this here. It's the same thing. So I don't know why there's two of them, but it happens not only with Epson, it happens with other vendors as well. But it's annoying to me. So anyway, let's go back to download folder, and then we need to, this one is done. Now the Postscript print driver is here. Let's see what happens with this. Okay, it's the right Windows version. Now this has got a couple different options in the Escape PR driver. You can set it as a default, and you can have it automatically update the software. Now when you have something automatically update the software, it means that something's going to be listening in the background, and at a certain point you have to say enough is enough. So I can go in and set it as a default anytime I want. So I'm going to uncheck these two things, because this is just going to install something on my test PC here that I'm never going to need, and probably never will need. Okay, English. I agree, even though I didn't read it, because if I don't agree, I can't install the software. Okay, it says setup is complete. That was like really easy. Let's see what we have now in devices and printers. Okay, now we have fax. I don't know why that's there. And network. Now, when I do printing preferences, that's Escape P2R. I'll do printing preferences on this one. Okay, and now you see, which even makes it more makes this driver even more suspect is that now I can, from this single icon over here, I can access the Postscript 3 driver and the Escape P2R2. Forgive me, I'll never get it right, but you get my drift. Alright, we want to look at the printing preferences. Let's see what the print driver looks like, and here's your typical Postscript interface. I mean, if you're using Postscript, you know exactly what this is all about. And it's very comforting to print professionals that use Postscript. And may I add that this is also Adobe Postscript, and it's not a clone. So you're definitely gonna print and see on the screen what's going to come out, no matter where you print it on any Postscript device, which is for professionals. That is something that is comforting. All right, now let's go back to, and you can see the PCL print driver is 7 times larger than the file size, is 7 times larger than Postscript, and that's pretty typical. Okay. And it's a universal print driver, and once again it has Escape P2R and PCL. So I don't know what's going to happen, because we already have the Escape P2R driver installed. So this is going to be interesting. It's asking me what kind of connection, network. And then you can set the default to PCL, and we're going to leave that alone for now. Make sure the printer is turned on and connected. It is. It found it. I also have a 7520 on my network, but we want the 5690, and it's asking me about default printer again. Okay, successful. Getting rid of the temporary files. Alright. Now, over here in devices and printers. There it is. There's your Epson universal print driver over here. Let's see what that looks like. Universal, and it's suspiciously similar to the Escape P2R print driver, and that's why it's universal. If you know how to use, actually, it's pretty nice. You could either use the PCL or the Escape P2R print driver, and you really wouldn't know the difference from an end user perspective. So that's pretty nice. Everything's pretty much the same. There's some stuff missing from over here. So universal on the right here is the Escape P2R. And on the left is universal, so these presets can be added, removed. Everything else looks pretty much the same. You even have Job Ranger Lite here. When you get to more options, it's pretty much the same except for color correction. It's the Escape P2R has some color correction capabilities, and then in maintenance there's also some differences. You can't do all of the can't mess with status monitor there. It's got missing, and your print head alignment for some reason is missing. So, All right, so the software has all been installed. It really wasn't too difficult. The first portion was waiting for the firmware upgrade and whatnot. Was a little pokey, but reasonably easy to answer all the questions. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with it. Most people, I can't even say most people, but keep in mind that you need to install either the Postscript 3 package, the Escape P2PR standard package, and the PCL and Postscript print drivers if in order to take advantage of everything that this printer has to offer. Once again, depending on who your users are, if you're an IT guy, and you can just install, say, the Postscript 3 package, which has all of the most important utilities. It's pretty slim, cleaned down compared to installing all three of these apps at once. It's probably your best idea. But with us, we have to see all three print drivers, so we have to install everything. So let's take a look at real quick at some of the software and the web page. Alright, Epson scans over here, and we've seen this in our other videos. It hasn't changed much at all. There's actually two versions of this. Well, there used to be. Okay, here it is: office mode and professional mode. So office mode, you pretty much got your standard black, white resolution. Some image adjustments, descreening, unsharp mask, blank pages, remove edge fill, etc. And once you say preview, you can see it on the screen, crop what you want, only what you want, and then print scan. And you can save whatever your settings here. Any new settings you make, you can save. You can save here. I don't see. It's not really letting me save it. This is still grayed out, so you probably have to use it once, and then you can save the settings. So that's office mode. That's the easy one. Professional mode gets a little more interesting, and this is where the Epson AOI. And this is where the Epson MFPs really shine for the scanning. I mean, there's so many things here that you can do with this. Dust removal, backlight correction. You can also save the settings. Right here, you have a film setting. If you have a device to back up a lighted device to back up your film or your slides, you can set the film setting there. And it's grayed out, but there's got to be a way to get it ungrayed. Nevertheless, you have more image adjustments in the professional mode. So that's how you would initiate a scan. You can also initiate scans from the control panel, and you can pull scans from application using the Twain WIA driver. There's also, we looked at it before, the Epson scan settings. Now, what this does is lets you add different scanners, test them, and access control. You can enter, if you have the user codes turned on, you can set this access control in the scan driver so that people can, if they don't enter their username and password, they can't use the scanner at all, even with the pull scanning. And let's look at this Document Capture Pro. Florida woman shot with arrows. And we have two status monitors running down here. This is annoying as well. Okay, Document Capture Pro. And this looks like, well, what you can do here is scan. This is kind of like the Job Arranger. I can scan a whole bunch of documents, and they'll end up over here. And then I can add pages, insert pages, place pages, and then save the job, save it or send it. Save it to a folder, email, FTP, or print it, all in one job. And it allows you to let's see, edit, row, scan, manage job. These are different jobs. Import, export. You can import jobs into this window over here. But there's also a place to where you can set print settings. Let's say duplex, stuff like that. Yeah, we need something in here, obviously, first of all. And then when you send it to a printer, you can set duplex, black and white, grayscale, any of your print settings, and apply it to the entire job. And you can mix together a bunch of scan jobs and do all of this and make one job out of it. It's pretty nice, and some people will find it useful. Okay, so I believe that's all of the software, and the last thing is to look at the web page. You do that by typing in the IP address of the printer into your address bar, and it's telling me that it doesn't like the security. Let's continue to the website anyway, and this is pretty impressive. This is also something that has been upgraded on this particular printer to make it more attractive to offices that want to manage and monitor their printers remotely. And this is really looking good for Epson. I've been wishing they'd do this for a while. So we have all of this status stuff here, and all this good stuff this printer has. Cloud print, Epson Connect, Wi-Fi status, and maintenance, all printed pages, duplex pages, simplex. This is just great. It really is. Paper sizes, black and white, color, copy, fax, scan, printed from mobile, printed from a memory, from a flash memory device, printed by the different print languages. This is just great. Excuse me for getting excited about this, but we love Epson products, but they've really been hurting on this in this with these capabilities. Basically, don't even exist on any Epson we've tested to date. This is just great, and this will help Epson break into the print management in the office and the enterprise by offering features like this. Bravo, Epson. These are default settings. Scan to email. printing, editing not allowed, file sizes, capabilities. You can put a prefix on your file names, your scan to cloud settings, your scan to fax settings, and this is really important here. Access control, you enable access control, and then you go into basic settings and you can add a username. Let's do one. And the password. And I would have to enter my username and password to be able to, I can choose, well, I don't want this guy printing from a USB stick. I don't want this guy printing from a computer. I'm going to make him walk up and copy it. So you can apply these restrictions to 1 of 10 users, or any of 10 users. This is really useful as well. The only thing I wish you could do is track this usage by user, but there are third-party solutions available that let you do that on a enterprise-wide basis, and Epson has announced that this printer is compatible with those third-party systems. All right, the rest of it, we need to go into services. This also has Wi-Fi Direct, network scanning, network name, work group name, the email server. You can have it sent out to emails sent out through email servers, and you also have LDAP, which allows you to search through securely and securely send documents over the network using standard Windows security settings such as the LDAP server and Kerberos. And you can, if I use it, now I can specify that before anybody sends anything through email that they get simple authentication or Kerberos authentication. This is another biggie. There's not too many inkjets that I can think of. Just a couple that give you this LDAP capability. And of course, you have other forms of security. You have the 802.1x. You have there's SNMPv3 is also something here someplace. Power saving, date and time, administrative passwords, and then all your basic settings is the first screen. So this is really good stuff for Epson, and it'll make this printer much more attractive to the enterprise or anybody who wants to manage and monitor their printers. And speaking of monitor here, these two status monitor things, I have to get rid of one. Okay. So yeah, right click it, and you can look at, that's the print queue, that's a big deal. You right click it, and nozzle check, software update up there, so monitoring preferences. Let's see what that looks like. You can have it monitor all these things up here. Display Epson offers, get rid of that. You don't want to share your users' information with Epson, that's up to you. You can monitor other printers besides Epson's. Probably won't be quite as effective, but you'll get the basic information you need. Show it in show the printer in the shortcut icon. I mean the shortcut icon in the taskbar is down here. So this is the one I'm not going to be using this one. We looked at it before in the devices and printers. I mean, I'm basically not going to use it. So you can get rid of simple status notification. Get rid of register. Shortcut, just turn everything off. And it should go away. Gone. Alright, so now I only have the one status monitor here, but it should let us see. It's nice. I mean, it's showing us how much ink is in it, what cartridges are in it. Actually, there's an XXL. I didn't even know they existed. Maintenance box life, print queue. Nice. Now, it's saying this one machine, but in devices and printers we have two here, and the universal print driver is not being monitored. So this one here is this one, which is PCL and which is Postscript and Escape P2R. This one is PCL. So if you want to monitor your PCL printer, you're going to need to go in print preferences, and you're going to have to go to maintenance and turn it back on somehow. Let's see. Or maybe not. I thought it was under extended settings. Usually is over here. But I don't see it. So I'm not sure how you would get the universal print driver to show up in the status monitor, because if you look at this Escape P, if you look at the Escape P2R driver over here on maintenance, you have monitoring preferences here. This one's the universal print driver is missing it, so it is intended not to be used, and it's really not that big of a deal anyway. You'll get generic messages regardless of whether it's set up. And maybe under monitoring preferences, I thought I saw something about other devices. And I did someplace, but now I can't find it. So Anyway, I usually don't like to having these too many things in the taskbar anyway. And I imagine that if it was really necessary, you can find a way to get the universal print driver monitored by the status monitor. Okay, that's it. Pretty straightforward Epson stuff. I'm expecting good things from this printer, and enjoy your purchase.